Close your eyes for just a moment. Picture a kitchen with yellow curtains on the window, a percolator bubbling on the counter, and the smell of something warm drifting through the whole house. That was an American home in 1960. Mom was in the kitchen, and dinner wasn't a question, it was a certainty. There were no apps to order from, no fast food on every corner, and no frozen meals that tasted like cardboard. There was just a stovetop, a casserole dish, and a woman who knew exactly what her family needed. Today, we're looking at 10 meals moms cooked every single week back in 1960. The dishes that filled the table, warmed the heart, and somehow, over time, faded from our kitchens. Let's take a trip back. 10. The Sunday pot roast. Low and slow all day long. If there was one meal that meant Sunday in 1960, it was the pot roast. Mom would wake up early, brown a chuck roast in a heavy cast iron pot, tuck in some carrots, potatoes, and onions, then slide the whole thing into the oven before church. By the time the family came home, the house smelled like heaven. The meat fell apart with a spoon, the vegetables had soaked up every bit of that rich, beefy broth, and nobody left the table hungry. Pot roast wasn't fancy, it was humble, affordable, and deeply satisfying. It was the kind of meal that made a house feel like a home. Today, it's mostly a holiday dish or a special occasion treat, but in 1960, it was just a regular Sunday afternoon. 9. Creamed chipped beef on toast. The breakfast the whole neighborhood knew by smell. Now this one might surprise some folks, but creamed chipped beef on toast was a staple in millions of American homes in 1960. It got a colorful nickname during the war years that we can't quite repeat here, but the dish itself was nothing short of comfort food royalty. Thin slices of dried beef were stirred into a thick, creamy white sauce and ladled right over slices of plain white toast. It was salty, rich, and incredibly filling, which meant it went a long way with a family that had 5 kids and a modest grocery budget. The beef came in small glass jars, and moms could stretch one jar into a full breakfast for the whole family. It was a Depression-era recipe that survived into the post-war boom because it worked. You don't see it on menus much these days, mostly because our taste buds have moved on to more elaborate breakfasts, but for a generation of kids growing up in 1960, it was as normal as cereal. Number 8. Tuna noodle casserole. The dish that lived in every recipe box in America. If you grew up in mid-century America, tuna noodle casserole wasn't just a meal, it was a Tuesday. Mom would mix canned tuna, egg noodles, and a can of cream of mushroom soup together in a big baking dish, top it with crushed potato chips or breadcrumbs, and bake it until the top turned golden and crackly. It took about 20 minutes to put together and fed the whole family with one dish. The canned goods industry had been booming since the war, and Campbell's Soup had practically made this recipe their mascot. Every mom had a slightly different version. Some added peas, some added celery, some even threw in a handful of shredded cheese. It was endlessly adaptable and endlessly affordable. Over time, the casserole fell out of fashion as fresh and organic cooking took over, and the convenience of canned soup started to feel like cutting corners. But in 1960, it was just called dinner. Number 7. Meatloaf with brown gravy. Monday night's quiet hero. Meatloaf had a reputation then, and it has one now, but in 1960, it was genuinely beloved. Mom would mix ground beef with breadcrumbs, an egg, a little onion, and ketchup, press it into a loaf pan, glaze the top, and let it bake until the whole kitchen smelled irresistible. Served alongside mashed potatoes and a ladle of brown gravy, it was the kind of meal that made tired dads sit down and exhale. It was also brilliant for leftovers. A cold meatloaf sandwich the next day on white bread with a smear of mustard was its own kind of reward. The recipe came from an era when ground beef was the most affordable protein on the market, and homemakers had become experts at making it feel like a proper dinner. Meatloaf never really disappeared,
but it lost its weekly spot in many homes once the food landscape changed and cheaper cuts of meat became less of a necessity. Still, there's nothing on earth quite like a good slice of old-fashioned meatloaf.
Number 6. Ham and bean soup. The best thing that ever happened to a leftover ham bone. Nothing in a 1960s kitchen went to waste, and nowhere was that more true than the Sunday ham bone. After the family picked it clean at dinner, Mom would drop that bone into a big pot with dried navy beans she'd soaked overnight, add some onion, celery, a bay leaf, and let the whole thing simmer for hours. What came out was a thick, smoky, deeply savory soup that warmed you from the inside out. It was practical cooking at its finest, using every scrap to feed the family through the week. Ham and bean soup showed up in homes across the country, regardless of income level, because it was both nutritious and nearly free to make once you had the bone. It was also a recipe passed down through generations, the kind of thing grandmothers taught their daughters, who taught their own daughters. Today, most of us buy pre-packaged soup and toss the bone without a second thought. But what a shame that is. Number 5. Stuffed bell peppers. Colorful, filling, and fancy enough for company. Stuffed bell peppers were the dish that managed to feel elegant without being expensive, and in 1960, that was a skill every mom had to master. She'd hollow out big green peppers, fill them with a mixture of seasoned ground beef, cooked rice, and tomato sauce, then bake them upright in a pan until the tops turned just slightly caramelized. They looked like something from a magazine, sitting there in their vibrant green shells, and kids actually looked forward to eating them. Part of what made stuffed peppers so popular was that they were a complete meal in one. Protein, starch, and vegetable, all in a tidy little package. They also photographed beautifully, which was something the new homemaking magazines like Better Homes and Gardens were making women more aware of. The recipe started fading from weekly rotation in the 1980s as convenience foods took over, and the idea of cooking rice and browning beef just to stuff it into a vegetable started to feel like too much effort. But in their heyday, stuffed peppers were a midweek masterpiece. Number 4. Chicken and dumplings. The hug in a bowl that never asked any questions. If someone came home sick, or the weather turned cold, or the week had just been long, Mom made chicken and dumplings. A whole chicken would go into the pot, simmering for hours until the meat was tender enough to fall off the bone. Then came the dumplings, soft, pillowy drops of biscuit dough, cooked right in the broth until they puffed up into little clouds of flour and warmth. This was old-fashioned cooking in the truest sense, the kind of recipe that had roots going back generations, all the way to pioneer kitchens and farmhouse stoves. It required patience and a good broth, but moms in 1960 had both. There was no shortcut version, no boxed mix, no rotisserie chicken from the store, just a raw bird, some flour, and time. Chicken and dumplings slipped away from everyday cooking as life got busier, and the average household schedule left less room for a pot that simmered for 3 hours. But on a cold winter night, nothing else comes close. Number 3. Liver and onions. The meal the kids dreaded and the parents defended. Now this is the one that's going to get some groans from the audience, but hear us out. Liver and onions was on the weekly menu in a huge number of American homes in 1960, and for good reason. Beef liver was incredibly cheap, loaded with iron and vitamins, and it cooked in about 15 minutes. Mom would dredge the slices in seasoned flour, fry them in butter with a pile of caramelized onions, and serve them alongside mashed potatoes and green beans. It wasn't glamorous, but it was nutritious in a way that very few budget cuts of meat could match. Doctors in that era actively recommended liver for growing children and for women, which gave moms a medical argument to back up their cooking choices. The dish began its long decline in the 1970s and 80s, partly because of concerns about cholesterol and organ meats, and partly because kids who grew up eating it vowed never to serve it to their own children. Today, it's practically a relic, but to the generation raised on it, the smell of liver and onions still takes them straight back to that kitchen.
Number 2. Homemade beef stew. The meal that took all afternoon and was worth every minute. Beef stew in 1960 was not the kind that came in a can, though that can of Dinty-Moore was certainly lurking in the pantry for emergencies. The real thing started with a cheap cut of chuck beef that Mom would cube and brown in batches, building up layers of flavor before a single vegetable even touched the pot. Then came the onions, potatoes, carrots, peas, a splash of Worcestershire sauce, and a thick flour-thickened broth that clung to every piece of beef and vegetable like a warm blanket. It simmered on the back burner for 2, sometimes 3 hours, filling every corner of the house with an aroma that meant safety, warmth, and dinner. Beef stew was the great equalizer of mid-century cooking. Rich families ate it, working-class families ate it, farm families ate it. It was universally beloved precisely because it was universally good. The homemade version started giving way to canned and frozen varieties by the late 1970s, as working moms had less time to stand over a stove. But nothing has ever quite replaced the feeling of that first spoonful on a cold weeknight. Number 1. Fried chicken from scratch, the queen of the 1960s kitchen. At the very top of the list, and honestly it was never going to be anything else, is homemade fried chicken. Not takeout, not fast food, not a bucket from a drive-thru. We're talking about a whole chicken that Mom broke down herself, soaked in seasoned buttermilk overnight, dredged piece by piece in a seasoned flour mixture, and fried low and slow in a cast iron skillet full of hot oil. The result had a crust that shattered when you bit into it, and meat so juicy it almost dripped. It was served on a platter in the middle of the table, alongside biscuits, mashed potatoes, creamed corn, and maybe a slice of pie waiting on the counter for later. Fried chicken was Sunday dinner, it was company dinner, it was celebration dinner. It took skill, knowing when the oil was hot enough, how long each piece needed, when to flip, and moms passed that knowledge down from mother to daughter like a family heirloom. The arrival of fast food chains like KFC through the 1960s slowly moved fried chicken out of the home kitchen and into a paper bucket. Today, most people have never even attempted to make it from scratch, but those who have know the truth. There has never been a piece of fried chicken as good as the one that came out of Mom's cast iron skillet on a Sunday afternoon in 1960.